Oh yeah, I mean, I was up at Buck Valley, as you know, and multiple people came out and told, they said how much they loved it. You looked at our comments and they loved it, and I mean, but think about this: we're going from riding a streetcar to go hunting to playing football in the inaugural game at Grady High School in Atlanta. I mean, it's. I tell somebody, I almost fell off my stool here when he said I would get on the streetcar with my dog and I would ride to the end of the line. And what I hope people heard, which this was just absolutely great, where he was riding to and where he was going to hunt was where the Atlanta airport sits today. And it was just really, it was really a lot of fun with him. And I know Frank has a lot more stories. He was just getting started with us. And so we're going to work on that with Frank, because I know he's a wealth of knowledge, and I tell you the other thing I loved, Haley. He talked about the founding of UFTA and the founding principles for how they came together. And I thought for everybody that was important. And he made a statement that really stuck with me. You know, we've changed some rules, certainly as we've gone along, but we haven't gotten away from our founding principles. And I think that's cool. Well, we are going to move to that new generation that's rolling in here, right here with us. We have Loren Trout on tonight. Loren, as many of you have heard me say, is he's in third place in the amateur high point race and second place in the doubles. So lots of success and a lot of fun. So let's get started. Bring Loren in here and learn a little bit from him tonight.
All right, that's awesome. Hey, Loren, welcome to Field Trial with Haley and Clinty. We're glad that you joined us today.
Hey.
How did you get started in field trialing?
I'd say about when I was 11 years old. My grandfather had 2 bird dogs, Bob and Rock, and I'd always been around them for a while, and I'd always be out there when we were working dogs, but I'd never actually been to a field trial before. And I think one week, in the middle of the week, my grandfather called my mom. He was like, does he want to go to a field trial, maybe, possibly? And I was like, well, sure, why not? You know, I get out of school on Friday, and I get to go hunting on the weekend. And I had a really good time while I was there. I loved being around the dogs, and I met a lot of nice people out there. And after that, I kind of just decided let's stick around and keep going to them every weekend with him.
That's awesome.
He really twisted your arm to get you to go with him that first time, didn't he?
Yeah.
Great. Go ahead, Haley. I know you. And it's my turn. See, I'm lost here because I can't only punch the buttons. I can't even follow the script that I wrote myself. So just y'all bear with me. Just hang on, Loren. Well, in that first trial, tell us what went on when you were running the dog. I mean, tell us all about that first one that you actually had to run a dog.
The first trial I think I actually got to run in was down at your all's place, your and Elmer's place.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I ran Bob, and I don't remember too much, but I do remember I was in the back zone of one of your fields, and I either called safety on a bird or I missed it. Let's just say I called safety on it. After that, Bob decided he wanted to hunt in the other field and not in that field, so I had a little bit of time getting him off the bird, but I stuck with it after that still.
So it sort of stuck with you. Now, I don't know if I should tell this story on Bob or not. Well, I'm really going to tell it on your papaw. I'm not going to tell it on Bob, because I have to tell you, I'm sitting in the truck at E-Town, and they're running doubles with, I can't remember who David had with him, and they're clean. They're on the last bird, Haley. They're rolling right in there, and there we go. Bob locks up. They get the last bird. No, the other dog lets the last bird. Bob's been finding all the birds, and this other dog gets the last bird. And so they're trying to get Bob to come to him. And Bob wasn't ready to quit. Bob was having too much fun hunting, and he was going to hunt a little bit more. And it took David, I don't know, 4 or 5 minutes, I think, to get him convinced it was time to come to him to finish. So I won't tell you how much the tears were running down my cheek laughing with him. I wasn't laughing at him, I was laughing with him. So just so you know, Lauren, you're not the first time that Bob decided he still needed to hunt some more. So with it, but Bob's a great dog. Haley, I think David told us he is in the Hall of Fame, I think, I forget, for twice going out. Anyway, something special I don't think we've had done with it. I'm trying to remember it. David, you can, if you're listening, plug that in the comments over here so I can remember that one. But yeah, I do remember y'all when you came down to the farm and ran in our fun trials with it. So always good to have someone get you started in it. So
That's awesome. So you have a dog named Copper, right?
Yes.
All right. So where did you get him? Tell us a little bit about his parents.
I got him from Matt Behe, and Matt actually has his mother, One Hop. And One Hop is I think she's the 2017 UFTA national champion, and I think she's a BDC puppy pointing national champion too, I think, if I'm right.
oh wow.
And then his dad is Bertie Birkenholtz's dog, Russell. And Russell, I think, has 2 World's Championships and then I think 2 BDC national championships. So
Awesome. One Hop is an awesome dog. I followed Behe with that dog several times, and she's phenomenal.
yeah,
Oh, cool. So how has Copper done in UFTA so far?
he's getting there. He's definitely learning a lot more, as much as I can give him at least. But
How old is he?
he's 2.5 years old.
Oh, he's still a puppy. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, he has a whole nother, all this year and all the next year in amateur. Am I right, Lauren?
Yeah.
Yeah. I will tell you this, Haley, about Lauren. I got the opportunity to go up to David Trigg's place in Illinois early in the year to watch an amateur trial. They had 2 trials on Saturday and 2 on Sunday. And the trial that Lauren and Copper ran was the fastest. It was 2 minutes and something. It was the fastest, most efficient that I've seen, because Copper's not the biggest dog out there, but he's like a streak. And Lauren, he's tall and young and he can smoke to that. And it was like, I'm like, whoa, look at them cover ground. So Lauren's being modest when he talks about, really talking about Copper there. Copper has a ton of ability. I mean,
That's awesome.
It's fun when you get those to go right like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, that's all right. So tell us about what's your favorite part of field trialing. I know you're involved in all it, but what do you really like? What do you enjoy about it?
Well, for starters, I really there's a lot of good people in this association. It makes it easy to come back to it every time.
Mm.
I really like watching my dog, though, and being out in the field with him. And at the end of the day, it's just a bunch of people together running bird dogs. It doesn't matter about the competition. I like the competition, but, it just is what it is.
Yeah. Well, the competition is fun. Yeah, you're right with all of it. And I know you all are certainly here traveling a bit. You were at Butte Valley this past weekend, and going to be at E-Town this coming weekend. That'll be a big trial for everybody, because I know you have we have big amateur and doubles going on there with it. So to me, a lot of the fun. It is a lot of fun of going to different places and seeing everybody and all that too.
Mm-hmm.
Getting a little travel in with it. Now, Haley, let me get caught up here, because David.
That's what I just was about to say.
Yeah, we were reading. Yeah, David, I knew David and I talked about this. Bob and Rock were 8-time doubles champions and 3-time open champions, and they are the only 2 dogs to go in at the same time. So two-person dog. And now this is show you that David subscribes to. And listen, he subscribes to the same theory of picking puppies that I do, because he said both Bob and Rock were given to him. So he knows that he's got it down, because it's kind of like me. I've told you, everybody's heard me say the best one I've had was given to me as well, with all of it.
We don't have that luck. No one gives us dogs like that.
little patience. They're always with them. Lauren, do you have a different perspective than anybody we've had on this show at all with it, in the sense that you also, I mean, you show and I mean, you run and trials and all that, but you also plant birds. You've planted at nationals. I know you planted at E-Town. You planted at Cedar Creek. Have you planted up there? I was trying to remember.
I think one time I did.
Okay, yeah.
There was one time.
Yeah, talk a little bit about what that's like, because you're trying to get birds in the zones and keep people like me and Haley from fussing about it and all that kind of good stuff.
No, that's a job, man.
It's definitely a change of pace from running dogs. You're constantly in the field and out of the field getting birds. I mean, especially at our trial, we don't really have a field marshal. Your bird planner is your field marshal. So you're getting people on the line just as soon as you're going out in the field. Mm-hmm. So it's definitely a change of pace. Yeah,
and in order to try to talk about making it, spreading them out and making it challenging and making it fair, and it's not just going out there and tossing a bird down here and there and driving out of the field. There's a little more to it than that.
Yeah, you don't want to make it like overcomplicated, but you also don't want to make it easy either. You want to make it fair to where everybody's getting pretty much the same draw every time.
Yeah.
Awesome. And, sorry, Mr. Kenny, but like in pointing, I know the one year that I ran pointing women's, birds are planted differently than flushing. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
The most I know about the difference in how you plant birds would be based off the cover, really. Like if you have enough cover like we do at E-Town, we'll just throw them in the cover.
Okay.
If you don't have enough cover, you'll either set them in the cover or you'll tuck their head under the wing and set them in.
That's what I was talking about, because I was explaining to some of the guys that had never even seen pointing this past weekend about how I thought you guys always just tucked their head in the wing and put them upside down. So that's not always. You guys just dizzy them and toss them sometimes too?
Yeah, it really depends on the cover, really.
Gotcha.
Most of the time.
Good.
That's a tough job, getting off and on that four-wheeler, off and on. I'd be so sore.
How many times a day you get on and off of that, Lauren?
Well, if we throw them, we really don't get off of it. But if we're putting it down on their sides, and it gets pretty bad.
That's a lot of times on and off. Wow. Is there a difference between trying to plant for flushing as opposed to pointing? I mean, as far as mixing them up, I guess you throw most all of them for flushing, or do you get down and put them down?
I think when I did it, I threw them down, or I set them down, kind of set them in the cover.
Right.
But there's not too much difference in it, really. You just want to make sure you separate them out evenly.
Yeah. Well, that's always that's the most important thing, of it all, is to make it, spread them out and make it a good challenge for everybody, so we can see good dog work. Because I think that's part of that's one of the things. How much do you get to watch other dogs work whenever you're planting? Do you get a chance to see any of the dogs work much, or are you just staying busy going backfield? Because you plant 2 fields at a time. I know at E-Town you do.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it really depends on how long the runs are between each field. Sometimes you're going sometimes if you're coming out of one field, you're going straight into the other field. Sometimes you get a little bit of break time you get to watch, but most of the time you're in and out.
Yeah. What he's trying to say, Haley, is when I'm running, he's got plenty of time to watch, because it takes him
No.
Well, I was curious. I really hadn't thought about this, Lauren, until this. Sometimes the more we watch, we learn from it, and if that gives you, sort of perspective as you work, and I know you work with Copper, because I've heard you and I've talked about it many times with him and all. Do you steal little ideas when you see somebody's dog do something and think, oh, I need to teach Copper that, or does it help you kind of learn to maybe I need to do work on this?
Most of the time there's always something I can work on with him. I try to find stuff that I can work on. Sometimes I can learn it from people running their dogs, and a lot of time it's from certain things that he does in the field that I'd like to fix sometimes. And that's most of the time when I know I have something I need to fix.
Right. Right. Yeah, mine showed me pretty clearly what I need to do after, you know, they'll find something. Even Haley, even Lexi this past weekend got what I call loose on me, and I'm thinking, oh my, when she gets loose, I'm in trouble with all of it because.
The princess.
Yes, yes, the princess does. Now we talked about earlier. You're in third in amateur and in second with doubles. I know you put a lot of work in. I watch you with him, and I know he's like every young dog that I've ever had. He still wants to, what shall we say, stray a little bit occasionally on you of that, and you got to kind of go back to it again and all with it. So but you have to be able to be putting some time in. Haley, if you watched him, he is, to say he's fast is the biggest understatement I've ever heard. Would I be right with that, Laura?
Sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, he can smoke, but he's got a huge nose. I mean, he can smell him, and he's like, it hurts me. He's going fast and swaps in and points and does all those kind of things. And I'm like, oh, wow, and all with him. And so, you know, just getting that energy under control takes a little bit of time, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm just now getting where I'm starting to get a little bit under control. I had the hardest time keeping him in the gate. That was our biggest problem. And then I started working him on that. And now I'm starting to get where I can get him to hunt a little bit closer to me too now.
Yeah.
Clint is a lot different than I in that aspect. Valley, that dog ranges so far from him, but he's a really good shot. And he lets her, he's comfortable with that. And he can just pull up and shoot and it be so far out. Whereas you'll hear me a lot of times in the field, Rose close, Rose here. And I keep her kind of in a distance that I'm comfortable with because she's not going to wait on me. She's not going to hold. She'll pop a bird. Now, my chocolate lab Brooke that I run, she started pointing out of nowhere. She's not a pointing lab, but she will point and hold. It's literally almost like I have to give her permission to flush that bird. And I like that because she'll hold for me and gives me time to get to her. But I had to go back to the drawing board with Rose a lot and be like, because she would just run so fast, she'd outrun her nose. And we'd blow past our gate. And so I took birds away completely. And I just did bumper work with her and made her in like the DTS bumpers where I can put the bird scent on them and throw them. And I'd keep her coming back. And I'd make her heel, like literally at Kentucky when we went to that trial, I had to, in the middle of the field, I had to heel her to my side, make her sit, and just calm her down because she was so excited. And so told her slow down. And then we went on, we were fine. But before that, she was just too fast. So I don't know what y'all do for that. I know it's a lot different in pointing because they will lock up, you know, but flushing, they just run past them and it's over.
Well, I will tell you one thing for Lauren it is just, I'm done when I have one do this. But I've watched Lauren have Copper go to the back of the field and he can get back there and go from the back of the field to the front and still win. And that's pretty, if anything will tell you how fast a dog is and somebody else and Lauren get to the field, he's the man can do that now because he gets back here and they get started and away they go. That's almost the way it appears you and Trent hunt doubles, isn't it?
Well, that's kind of how we started to do it because we figured once we started getting faster times doing it that way because I can make it to the back of the field faster than Trent can make it to the back of the field. So we're cutting the field in half pretty much.
Right.
So, and at Cedar Creek, it didn't end up working out for us that way, but most of the time that's how we run it. And it does work out most of the time.
That's awesome. A lot of times you go out and especially when the field is downhill, I have, not on purpose, like not because my dog ran back there, but the wind is blowing so much that they're not smelling anything. So I just haul butt to the back and I hunted the field totally backwards because that's the way the wind was blowing. And to get the dog in the wind to smell anything, it was the only way to do it. But that's cool. We've come up with a lot of different strategies for doubles. And so Trent was actually a guest on our show, 4 weeks ago, I think. And so you and Trent are cousins, right?
Right.
That's cool. What's the age difference there? How long have y'all been doing this together?
Let's see. I'm 20. He's 7. So 3 years. We've been doing this. Last year was our first year doing doubles.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, y'all done really well for yourself.
I like to think so sometimes, at least.
Yeah, he's being modest. Now The only thing I can tell you, see, he got the modesty. I don't know if Trent got any of that. I'm not sure.
I don't think he did.
Yeah, yeah. I think I got an amen on Lauren right there. You know how much we think of Trent, but yeah, you hit the nail on the head there with that one. They've done really well, and it's been lots of fun to watch them, and I can't wait till this weekend so I can watch those amateurs run and those doubles. But now I'm gonna be in there with the doubles now, so y'all gonna have to get on your game with it. So what I'm gonna tell you is tell Trent he's gonna have to pick it up because I'm coming now. I'm gonna be there after him. So, but
Yeah.
anyway, well, Lauren, I really have enjoyed. Haley, you have any final things you want to ask here? I mean, we've had a blast with it.
That's awesome. I'm just glad that he was able to join us tonight. Where are you headed this weekend?
E-Town.
All
Lincoln
right.
Trail. Yeah.
Okay.
Good. Yeah, we're excited. My crew's headed to E-Town as well, so I'll get up there and get to watch and well, just get to watch. That may be more what I get to do than anything else. Lauren, again, for Haley and me, thank you so much. We really appreciate you. I've told lately people are going to quit listening to me on this, but you really are you're the example of why I love doing this sport, is because to watch you have fun and watch you succeed, have fun first and foremost, and make that bond. Haley, the bond between Trent and Turbo and then with Lauren and Copper is as much fun to watch as it is to watch them trial. I mean, they're dogs, they spend time with them, and that's, you'll have a lot of dogs, Lauren. I suspect there will never be one like Copper with it. So
I think he'll be the only one like he is. I don't know.
That's true. That's true. Well, that's the special part of our sport, and we like to certainly celebrate that and all you do, and certainly we appreciate you planning, but more so we appreciate you running. And so us old guys is remind your papa us on the advanced age we get to watch. So
yeah.
All right, my man. We'll see you on Saturday. And but again, thanks. Great job, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. All right. Second, right here. There we go.
All right, that was great.
Hey, wasn't it, Toe? He was excellent. I knew he would be, and he's done a really good job with his dog, and he's a handful. He is just driven and wide open, but you can see the work start to pay off, and those are the best, but it's sometimes the one we really got to struggle. We got to work on us to say the least with.
I agree. I had to learn that, like I was talking about Brooke. She was the most ornery chocolate lab ever as a puppy. Holy moly. Like literally at Nationals, we somehow found that she had so much energy built up, and she's excellent. But in order to drown that down some, we had to stake her out and just let her run out some of her energy before I went to run, or else she was just crazy in the field. But that it really and truly helps. I don't know if that's something that maybe she tried, but they get all hyped up hearing all the gunshots in the trailer, and they're waiting on their turn. They know what's going on.
Oh yeah. They know where they are, and they know what's going on, and they don't know why they can't be out there, and they have to wait. And you're exactly right.
So much so that, listen, when we were in Kentucky at the PBG kennels at that trial, I had rode down the buggy to watch a couple runs, and then come to find out I was on deck, so not next, but fixing to be. And Cross had just finished, and so he knew my dogs, he knew where they're located in the trailer. I was like, well, I'm just gonna watch this run. Will you just bring my dog back down on my buggy? I have my gun and everything else. I see my dog, and he was like, sure. He goes out, and I had just let her out to go pee, put her back in the kennel, and I walked down to the field to watch. He goes up there to let my dog out, to put her in the kennel and on the dog box on the gator and bring her to me. he opens the gate, not even all the way, and he just leaves him, and he's yelling, Rose, Rose, every breath. And I'm like, I mean, I'm pretty far from her. I'm way downhill, like between some woods, everything. And I said, oh gosh. And I look over, and Clay Mason's like, what's that? And I said, or no, it was Clint. Clint was like, what's that? I said, that's Rose, or that's Cross yelling for Rose. He says, why is he yelling? Because he just came out of the field.
Right.
And here in about 2 seconds, there came Rose running down the thing. Clint's like, who's that? Like, that's Rose. He's like, what is she doing out? I'm like, well, and then, I mean, she came right straight to me and just stopped and looked at me like, okay, Mom, it's my turn. I'm ready. But he was like, I was like, got her. So he went where I stopped her. He didn't run anywhere. She came straight to me like, listen, you're not about to leave me out. You just put me back in the box and left me. It's my turn. I mean, she knew what was going on, and because she was whining and everything, but it was hilarious. We laughed and laughed and laughed at that because, I mean, she meant she was coming to me, and she just heeled right beside me and sat down and just looked at me like, huh.
She wasn't going to be left out. She didn't understand why she could be there and go her turn. I know.
So
I know.
funny.
I got one or two of those. You know, I got in trouble this week.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. I showed up at Butte Valley, and somebody said, didn't you know Don Shepard was 3 years younger than Frank? And I'm like, well, yeah. But I said, you know, you asked me on the spur of the moment, and I'm having to think. And I said, I just had a conversation with Jerry, and he was telling me how old he was. And I knew good and well Jerry wasn't 3 years younger than Frank. Well, Jerry had a bone to pick. He wanted to be sure he understood that he wasn't near as old as Don Shepard. Now, I don't know what that meant, but I'm just reporting all of it. So I got in trouble. I want everybody to know Jerry is younger, about nearly as, he's younger than Don. And so, as I told y'all last weekend, you know, Don's one of my idols too. Anybody can run a dog down and tackle it in the field and get the time stopped at 80 plus years old is high on my idol list. So anyway, got in all kinds of trouble for that one.
That's funny.
I want to do, I'm going to do better, y'all. I'll try to pay more attention here with it. So, you know, stay away from some things, but we have a new feature this week, Haley. We're going to institute Retrieve of the Week.
All right.
In our trials, and we see something exceptional, we'll describe it. Now, I wish we had been, I have this on film because it would be far better than the story I can tell. So for everybody, Haley and I are going to be watching, and those special things that we see occur out there, we're going to share them with you in each week. So this week, it involves David Head and Rudder. Now, I'll tell this story the best I can because David pulls something I do a lot. David takes Rudder out to run. He turns him loose, and Rudder goes out in the field and slam up on point. David pulls a Kenny and misses the bird, but that's all right. Rudder runs it down, you know, eventually catches it, brings it back to him. Go right on down through the field. Rudder slams up on a second point. I'm thinking David's got one going pretty good here. Well, David pulls another Kenny and misses this bird. And Rudder runs it around, but he catches it. And what happens is Rudder is directly behind the side-by-side, the judge in the side-by-side, and he can't see David. So Rudder looks and sees all of us standing up here in the gallery, and here he comes. Bird in the mouth, comes all the way through, comes all the way out in the gallery, goes over in the other field. Now, he can't just come out and go around around the corner. He has to go through. There's a big wide patch of tall grass, and he sees somebody hunting in the other field. So he takes off toward that one. And about midway in the field, he hears the whistle, David's whistle. So he goes back through this tall grass, down in the woods, down through the creek, out of the woods, up in the field, and gives David the bird. Well, on top of that, he turns and goes about 10 feet and points again, and they get their third bird. Now, they had a 6-minute run.
Oh, my word.
3+ minutes of that was Rudder trying to find David with that second bird. So you know, that was probably as good as I've seen in a long time. So it made the inaugural Retrieve of the Week for us. And so we will, for everybody, Haley and I are going to be on the lookout for more of those to bring to you.
That is awesome. I bet David was kind of sick to his stomach.
Well, he was laughing coming out because he knew exactly he had a 3-minute run that was 3 minutes of run and 3 minutes of retrieve. But great dog work.
At least they never dropped the bird when he locked up on another one, you know?
This is true. This is true. He brought it all the way back. So
Yeah.
anyhow, well, let's switch here a little bit. I know you all had a trial at Shiloh. Tell us about that.
Our trial, we just did one open and 2 doubles. Valley with Clint got first in the open, and our doubles winners were Blitz with Cross Payne and Ultra with Clint. So they did awesome.
Oh, wow. Good. Well,
You were at Buck Valley, right?
we're at Buck Valley, at Wild Buck Valley. We had a great trial. Nate Hilligus drove down from New York, and Brandon Tarquinio met him and came with him and ran open point and amateur and doubles. And so I am. It was a great time. David had actually won the first open trial, and Brandon won the open trial on Sunday. 2 great 3-minute runs. I mean, he did a really good job. Nate finished. I know Nate finished second on Sunday, and I'm not sure about Saturday. I don't have that list in front of me. But listen, the High Point race is going to get wild. I'm telling you, because it's flipping, and we're going to talk about it in a minute. But they both picked up some points through all of that. But it was a lot of fun to have them there. They also ran doubles, and they won doubles both days. I'm trying to go back and remember all that. So really
Nate
good.
and Brandon ran together?
Yeah, Brandon ran one of Randy's dogs.
Or Randy, not Nate. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Brandon ran one of the dogs for them. And so, see, I've been giving Nate all the credit all the time. And it was just shown out this weekend that Nate's the anchor of that team out there. It's not Randy, because he left Randy at home and came on and had some great runs. So
that's awesome.
We had a lot of fun, and it's gonna be fun to see what happens whenever we get to a little bit further in the year. So yeah, a lot of fun there with it all.
Mr. Frank is watching us right now, and he said he has saw Rocky swim across a pond for a retrieve once.
Oh wow, that's pretty good right there. Now that is good. So we're gonna have a lot of material with these retrieves and all with it.
Chuck Fashing commented he's watching us too. He said not only a retrieve of the week, but a shot of the week should be mentioned. So
we'll keep our eyes on that one too. So that's a good idea, Chuck. We'll watch that. That's a really good idea. With all of it, we talked a little bit about Frank last weekend, but I was able to talk to him a little bit, and then he talked about Rocky more than he did with us, and it's pretty amazing what all Rocky did. So we'll hopefully we'll get some opportunity to have Frank back more and all with it. And Larry Reed has checked in, of course, to correct me, because I always need it. So they got second. Let's see, they let me get here. Nate got third on Saturday. Brandon got first on Sunday. And Nate got second. Yeah, I thought that's correct. Thanks, Larry. Both excellent open runs for them. And they won the doubles on Saturday and second on Sunday. When all those things get posted, that's why I'm saying I know that these races are going to get really wild here at the end. So anyway, that's going to be fun watching. So upcoming trials, what we got in Flushing?
So Flushing, we have Triple C Game Club, or Game Farm, this weekend, the 17th to the 20th. They have pointing in Flushing. That's in Reidsville, North Carolina. Point of contact for that is Miss Bonnie Roach. Man, do they have a lot going on. because I looked at that info and wow, there's a ton of pointing, a ton of flushing, and that's just a whole lot to handle. So kudos to you, Miss Bonnie.
Yep.
Also, this weekend is our Christmas Classic here at Shiloh. We'll have one open and one doubles each day. As far as I am aware, there's a couple other clubs that have some trials after this weekend. We do not, as so far that I have seen. This should be the final run for the High Points race.
Wow.
It should be one of the last biggest trials there is. I know Eddie Carbon's coming down from Ohio. Chuck has mentioned possibly getting to come down from Ohio as well. Not sure if that worked out yet. But yeah, so it's going to be awesome. Another big trial. And then looks like Lincoln Trail Quail Club is also the 19th to the 20th in E-Town. They're having some pointing and flushing. I'll let you elaborate on that more. The point of contact for that is David Pike and Hardy Jaggers.
Yep. Yeah, they're beginning to do flushing. It's kind of growing. I think I mentioned last week, I think week before last at Cedar Creek, I believe Joey had 11 or 12 dogs, at least 12 dogs in flushing. They're doing flushing this weekend at Cedar Creek in addition to the pointing. So yeah, it's like I mentioned to Lauren earlier, this is a big trial. I mean, both amateur and doubles, because all that doubles is going to tighten up here, certainly with it, and the open with it. So it's Lincoln Trail this weekend, Beersheba up in South Carolina also this weekend, and Scott Boland is the contact up at Beersheba. So let me switch off and talk about those high points here real quick, where we are. Open pointing today, this morning, I will say, Trooper and Randy Hillegas were in first place. Cole, owned by Paul Vaughn, Frank Arno and Hoyt Malden in second, and Rex with Brian James in third. But there are about 4 dogs, Haley, that are just 40, 50 points off here, especially of second and third. So that's going to be really fun. There are a number of trials scheduled. I know we had pointing trials at Corbin. Let me see what my day is. Today and tomorrow. We'll go to E-Town, and then, of course, we're in a Christmas break, and there are a number of trials, some during the middle of the week and on weekends.
Oh, wow.
So it's going to be, there are several trials left to go yet, and we'll see, because it'll be interesting. There'll be some traveling go on, let's say, in the next couple of weeks here as we wind down. The amateurs the same way. I mean, Cap and Kevin Pixley are still in first place, and Turbo's in second, and Copper is in third. But 7 through 4, there's only 40 points separating 7th place to 4th place. And so,
wow.
Yeah, and that's a good trial. I mean, that's not even a good trial. That's a small trial. So that's going to be really, really interesting to see what happens there with it. Doubles pointing, Randy and Nate still in first place with Karma and Trooper. Certainly was helped them at Larry's trial. We had in their doubles. Of course, Copper and Lawrence we've talked about. Turbo and Trent are still in second. Third place is Bo and Mags, owned by Butch White. So tight races in all 3 of the pointing divisions, and so we're gonna have a lot to talk about here in the next couple of weeks.
We sure are. So the flushing, there was some points gained after trials were posted this week as of yesterday, actually. You know, you just look at that and you hit refresh and refresh. High Point Flushing Open. Briggs is up in first. She went from a 900 point to 1,041 points. That's a good jump.
Whoa. Whoa.
Second is Thor, owned by Eddie Carbon. And third is Hercules, owned by Eddie Carbon, with 796. And fourth and fifth are just not even a full 20 points difference. So just like you said, everything's depending on these next trials. So I'm very interested to see how things go after this weekend. In doubles flushing, first is Thor by Eddie Carbon, and second with Hercules, and third with Midas. And you got Creek and Ultra right there at 4th and 5th. Like I said, those are, I think 3rd and 4th are 8 points difference. So it's a race. It is a huge race. There is points up for gamble, and some of these dogs, have ran like 15 trials. So you can only better your lowest score. Then you got some of these dogs that have ran like 12, and their lowest score is like an 8. So they have a better chance if they do very well. So it's so cool to me. Like, your lowest 10 score, your 10th lowest score, if it's like a 15 and you had a good 20 dog trial and you get 120 points for that first place, you just got 100 points.
Right.
And so it's awesome. It takes a lot of math to sit down and kind of figure all this up and take some time, but
there's a little bit of that going on in pointing, and there's a little sleeper out there. Ty Patterson has only run like 6 times. Ty's Zeke dog is really good. And
yes,
he's in 4th place or 5th place. I can't remember, but every trial he runs, it all adds because he's only run about 6 times. So
he went to the end on purpose.
Yeah, it's kind of that may be a new
that may be
method. That's a new way to that's a new way to go at it. So
it's a lot cheaper that way.
and that's the truth. Hey, tell us about your hat you got on.
Y'all, this is from Duck Camp Company. This hat and this shirt both came from there. This is a new company that has reached out, and they have donated some field trial prizes. I found them on Instagram, just scrolling through. Have some really nice products. They have a lot of wax hats. This one's not wax, but the other one is full leather. It's wax. It's totally rain resistant, waterproof. A lot of these guys, they mainly duck hunt and this stuff, but they also do some upland gear as well. They have lots of, honestly, I would compare their camo to Sitka, and that's like the camo of all camo. So this is a family-run business. These guys are awesome. They're so sweet, and it is mainly men wear, but they do have obviously like hats that women can wear, and then some of the button-ups us women can wear those. They're not form-fitting, but I kind of handed around to them. I was like, hey, you guys should get some women's stuff in, and they're like, absolutely, it's something that works in the future. We'll reach out to you. So you guys be out on the lookout for Duck Camp Company. Make sure you go like them on Facebook and Instagram, and let them know that Haley from Shiloh Kennels and Shooting Preserve sent you.
Perfect. Excellent. That's great. That is great. Well, I like the hat. Great.
Thank you.
Kind of time to wrap up here a little bit. In disrespect for next week, David has just told me that Ty has only run 5 times. And so, everything he's getting adding. So there we go.
Chuck too. He said Choctaw.
Yep.
I noticed Chuck and Choctaw has showed up recently, doing really well. And I'm like, where you guys been all year?
There you go. All right, back to next week. Next week we are going to, because of Christmas Eve and the way that falls and all with our families, we're going to be on Tuesday next week at 7:30 regular time, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern. But that gives everybody plenty of time with family and all. So we're just know that Tuesday of next week we'll get a reminder kind of out, and our program director, who is not here tonight, is off in Georgia. We'll help get that out just as a reminder. But please know Tuesday of next week. We'll look forward to seeing everybody. Thanks for being with us. Great time, Haley.
That was awesome. We appreciate all the engagements this week, y'all. I think more people has engaged this week than ever. They're coming in, filling in when we don't know all the answers, and letting us know. And we appreciate that, keeping us straight.
That's great, because I can't. Well, they know I can't remember. You can, but anyway. So that's why we love to do it live. We want people to. Tommy Wiley just kicked in and told us he's there. I mean, we want people to help us and tell us and all those kinds of things, and it's our it makes it fun with all this. So all right, until next Tuesday, 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern, we'll see you then on Field Trialing with
Haley Ann,
Kenny. Bye,
Bye,
everyone.
everyone.
Okay. Says we're off. Let me stop recording.